Hello, I am Joshua Appleman. Thank you so much for checking out my video. This is week 2, Psychology of Play, quest 3, learning a new skill. For my presentation, I will do technical learning, letter spelling, my full name in American Sign Language. I do have some experience with American Sign Language. This is, however, my first time with letter spelling. Previous to this, I was a little anxious and overwhelmed by learning the alphabet in American Sign Language and using it to introduce myself. But it is a very necessary part of interacting with someone using sign language, especially the first time, as a way of introducing yourself correctly. I have enough hands-on experience to know when something feels wrong when signing. Signing is intuitive. It follows a natural movement of your body. It often replicates the action or thing that it is meant to describe or depict. It's not meant to be awkward, difficult, or painful when expressing things. So when something is awkward and difficult and somewhat painful, it feels wrong. It doesn't feel like a natural movement in sign. And that's what I was running into in attempt 1. I was feeling that something was definitely not right, specifically with the letter H, and then again with the letter P. I even tried signing with my left hand. This is acceptable in sign language. You can sign with either hand, whichever is more comfortable. As it was my first time with letter spelling, I thought possibly maybe it's a user error. Maybe I'm just better lefty. Tried it. No. There were clues that something was definitely wrong. First, all of my letter spelling should be performed comfortably with my hand directly over my elbow. So if a movement requires me to contort my wrist in an unnatural way, or even off screen, as everything is performed very close to my body with the other letters, or something to jut dramatically off screen or in one direction, that's an indicator that something's not right. So session 2 was with a different resource. I was still looking directly at the resource and copying the gestures as I did in session 1. Difference being, session 1, some of the signs were shown from my perspective. Most of the signs were shown from the viewer's perspective or your perspective. But certain letters in the first resource were shown from mine. I did not know that. The second resource that I found showed everything from the viewer's perspective or your perspective. This corrected the issue. During session 2, I was able to focus a lot more on my form. Now that I was confident I was signing the correct way, I was able to workshop and fine-tune some of the letters, which arguably I was signing in a very confusing and similar way, specifically the letter E and S. I practiced on my own throughout the day, and by the time I started session 3, I was pretty confident in my letter spelling for my full name. I was able to do it without looking at the resource for reference. I watched myself in the recording to check my positioning and form. By the end, I was incredibly confident in my ability to introduce myself by letter spelling my full name. I learned that I am able to detect reasonably quickly when something is not right, as far as something feeling unnatural and not intuitive to the flow of non-visual communication through American Sign Language. I'm also able to self-correct by referring back to the resource. And overall, I had a lot of fun, even with the difficulties, as I was able to work through those and still succeed at my ultimate goal, which was letter spelling my full name. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!